The High Council of Alari stood in silence as the decision was made. They looked at the pale princess Lyrana, who stood with her eyes down. She was born to a royal line, but everyone knew she could not have children. To the Alari that made her useless, she was no queen. She was just a name, a face, and now a tool for humor. They decided to send her to Earth to live with humans. Not as a gift of peace, not for alliance, but as a joke. Some laughed quietly, others showed no emotion. Lyrana heard every word. She said nothing. She was placed inside a ship without ceremony. A few guards, no farewell. They sent her across the stars and dropped her near a human outpost in the dry desert of a place called Nevada. When the ship landed, a human named Luke stood waiting. He was told he would be hosting someone from another world. He was not told it was a royal. He was not told she was Barren. He only saw a tall woman with white hair, silver eyes, and skin like frost. She looked at him without expression. Luke was a simple man. He worked with machines. He liked quiet. He had lived alone for many years in a small house filled with tools and books. He did not know how to talk to someone like her. He just said, "You can come in." Lyrana followed him inside. The place was small, but clean. He offered her a chair. She sat. Hours passed with only a few words between them. Luke did not ask questions. He did not stare. He did not laugh. For the first time, she was not judged. In the days that followed, Lyrana stayed mostly silent. She watched Luke fix engines and check solar panels. He made simple food and placed a plate in front of her. She ate. She began to sit near him while he worked. One night she asked, "Why are you not curious about me?" He shrugged. "I figured you'd talk when you wanted to." Looked at the stars outside the window. "My people sent me here to be forgotten." Luke nodded. "People do cruel things sometimes," she asked. "Do you think I am broken?" He shook his head. "I think you're quiet and sad, but not broken." Her lips moved slightly. Not quite a smile, but close. As days turned to weeks, she began to speak more. She told him of the cold halls of her world, of the way others looked at her, of the tests, of the shame, of the silence in her heart. Luke listened. He told her of growing up in foster homes, of being alone, of fixing things so he didn't have to think, of the dog he once had, the way he always wanted something more. They did not speak of love. They did not touch. But something grew in the space between them. Comfort, warmth, trust. One morning, Lyrana stepped outside and looked at the rising sun. It felt different now, like it meant something. In the distance, machines buzzed. The air shifted. Strange lights blinked on a panel near the house. Luke checked the readings. It was new, he said. Power spikes. Energy from nowhere. Lyrana felt something strange inside her. Not pain, not fear, just something new. She said, "Maybe it is me." Luke looked at her. She looked back. The silence was full of meaning. A joke had brought her here. But what was starting now did not feel like a joke at all. Lyrana sat by the window, watching the desert wind move the sand. The sky was clear, and the sun hung low. It was quiet, as always. She held a small tool in her hand, something Luke had given her. He said it was used to fix circuits. She didn't know how to use it, but she liked the weight of it. Luke was outside, working on a broken solar panel. His hands moved with ease. He didn't speak much, but when he did, it was always simple and honest. He had never asked her about her past again. He waited until she chose to speak. She walked outside and stood near him. He looked up. "Need something?" she said. "I want to help." He handed her a wire. "Hold this." For the next hour, they worked in silence. The wind picked up. The sun burned above, but she didn't feel the heat. She watched how he moved, how he stayed calm. When the job was done, he handed her a bottle of water. She drank. Then she asked, "Did you ever want children?" He looked away for a moment, then nodded. "Yeah, always did. Why didn't you?" "Never found the right time or the right person." She nodded. "On my world, they test us young. I was told I could never have a child. They said my blood was wrong." Luke sat on a rock. "That doesn't sound fair. They said I was born broken. I don't see anything broken." She looked at him. her eyes shining in the fading light. "You speak like no one I have met. Maybe that's a good thing." That night, a storm came. Wind roared across the desert. Lightning lit up the sky. They stayed inside. The power flickered. Machines buzzed with static. Lyrana sat near the wall, watching the lights. Something in her body felt strange. A warmth. A pull. "Luke," she said, "something is wrong." He came over quickly. "What is it?" I feel. Heavy, like something inside is changing. He helped her to the couch. He checked her pulse. It was fast. "We need to scan you." He guided her to the small lab he had built under the house. Machines lit up. Screens blinked. Data rolled across. His eyes widened. "Lyrana, you're pregnant." She stared at the screen. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. "But that's not possible," she whispered. "It says otherwise. They tested me. I was barren, but not." She looked down at her hands, then at him. He didn't answer. The room was quiet except for the hum of the machines. In the days that followed, the scans continued. The child inside her grew fast, far faster than human children, but she felt no pain, only a strange peace. Luke stayed close. He brought her food. He watched her closely. He spoke less, but his eyes said more. One evening, she stood outside with her hand on her stomach. "Do you think they'll come for me?" "They might." "What will they do when they see this? I don't know." She looked at him. "Will you protect me?" "Yes." She nodded. "And I am not afraid." Unknown to them, a small device under the sand lit up. The Ilari had placed it there to monitor her. It blinked and sent a signal across space. Far away, deep in the Ilari system, the signal was received. Alarms rang. Scientists stared in shock. "She is with child," one of them said. "How can that be?" "Possible," said another. "And yet it is true." The High Council gathered. Their faces were grim. "She must return. The child is of our blood. It must be studied." Orders were sent. The ship was prepared. Back on Earth, lyrana felt a change in the air. She looked at the stars and said quietly, "They know." Luke stood beside her. "Then let them come," he said. The sun was low in the sky when lyrana woke. Her body felt different. She sat up slowly and looked around. The room was quiet. Machines blinked softly in the dark. Luke was asleep in a chair nearby. His head rested against the wall. He had been watching over her every night since the storm. She felt a strange peace in her chest. She touched her stomach. It was no longer flat. It had grown in just a few days. She could feel the child move inside. She stood and walked outside. The desert air was cool. The sky was wide and full of stars. She looked up at the moon and whispered, "What are you going to be?" Behind her, Luke stepped outside. He rubbed his eyes. "You should rest. I feel fine." He walked to her side. "It's growing fast." "Yes. It feels like it is not just mine. Like it belongs to more than me." He nodded. "Maybe it does." The wind blew gently. They stood in silence. 3 days passed. Each day, the child grew stronger. Lyrana could feel its thoughts sometimes, not words, but feelings. Warmth, safety, curiosity. Luke built a small room for her under the house. It had soft lights and warm walls. He filled it with things that might help. She watched him work and said, "Why are you doing all this?" He said, "Because you matter." And so does the child. Looked away, trying to hide her face. "You don't believe that yet, do you?" "I want to. But all my life they told me I was nothing." They were wrong. The next morning, a sound came from the sky. A low hum. Lyrana ran outside. A ship was descending, small and silver, as fast and silent. Luke followed. "They're here." She nodded. "They want the child. We won't let them take it." The ship landed far from the house, near a dry hill. 3 figures stepped out. They wore long white robes and silver masks. Ilari, they walked toward the house with slow steps. Lyrana stood in front, her hand on her belly. One of the Ilari spoke. "Princess, you must return. This is my home now. You carry a child. This must be studied. This is my child, not yours. You were sent away. You were not meant to survive." Luke stepped beside her. She did more than survive. She changed. The Elari turned to him. "This does not concern you." "It does now," lyrana said. "I will not go back. Then we will take you by force." From behind the hills, a group of humans appeared. Friends of Luke. Scientists, engineers, locals who lived near the outpost. They had heard the noise and came. The Elari paused. They had not expected others. Lyrana spoke louder. "You sent me here as a joke, but I found peace. I found life. You will not take that away." Larry lowered his mask. His face was pale and sharp. "You do not understand what this child means." "I do. It means hope. It means change." He stared at her, then said, "You have until the next cycle. Choose wisely." He turned and walked back to the ship. The others followed. The ship rose into the sky and vanished. Luke took her hand. "What now? We get ready. They will return. We must protect what we have." She looked at the stars again. Not with fear, but with purpose. Something new had begun. The child lay in Lyrana's arms, quiet and still. His small fingers moved slowly, and his eyes looked around the room without fear. Luke sat beside her, his hand on her shoulder. They were both tired, but neither wanted to sleep. The doctors had left. The guards still stood outside. No one knew what to do next. The child was not supposed to exist, but now he did, and they could not ignore him. "He's perfect," Luke said. Lyrana nodded. "They will want to take him. They won't get the chance." She looked at him. "They might try. Then they'll fail." The door opened. One of the High Council members stepped inside. His face was long and thin, and his eyes were cold. "The child must be given to us," he said. Lyrana held the baby tighter. "No, he is not fully Elari. He is a danger to our order." "He is not a danger. He is hope. Hope breaks systems." Luke stood up. "Then maybe your system needs to be broken." The elder narrowed his eyes. "You speak without knowing our ways." "I know enough. I know you treat your own like tools. I know you throw away what you don't understand." The elder turned to leave. "We will decide soon." The door closed. Lyrana looked down at the child. "We don't have much time. We need to get out of here," Luke said. "They won't let us." "Then we make them." Word spread fast. Outside the palace, crowds began to gather. Some came out of curiosity. Others came because they had heard rumors that the Barren princess had given birth, that the child was not pure, that a human was involved. Some whispered in fear, others in wonder. Inside, the council argued. Some wanted to keep the child. Some wanted him gone. Few said nothing, only watched. Lyrana walked into the council chamber with Luke beside her. She held the baby close. "I was sent away as a joke," she said. "You wanted to forget me. Now you cannot. You broke the law," one counselor said. "Your law broke me long ago," she replied. "What do you want?" "Freedom. For me. For him. And for those who come after." "It's not your choice to make." "Then I will make it anyway." The room fell silent. "We should kill the child," a voice said from the back. Luke stepped forward. "You will not touch him. We're nothing here," another voice said. "Maybe," Luke said, "but she is not. And soon neither will he be." A younger counselor stood up. Her voice was soft but clear. "I want to see the child." Lyrana looked at her, unsure. "Please," the young woman said. Lyrana stepped forward and let her see the baby. The counselor's face changed. "He is not a monster," she said. "He is beautiful." Others moved closer. Not all, but enough. Questions were asked. How was he born? How did it happen? What did it mean? Lyrana answered what she could. Luke said little. The child stayed quiet. The old council leader stood. "We cannot agree. Too much fear. Too much pride. We need time. We don't have time," Luke said. "Take her. Leave this world. Go back to your own. Let us forget again." Lyrana shook her head. "We won't hide. Not anymore." The young counselor stepped forward again. "Instead, teach us. Help us see. They won't all listen," Lyrana said. "No, but some will. And some is enough to begin." Outside the palace, the crowd had grown. When lyrana stepped out with the child in her arms, there was silence. People looked at her, some in fear, some in awe. She held the child high. "This is the future," she said. "Not just mine, not just his, but yours too." No one moved. Then one person stepped forward, then another, and another. The guards did not stop them. The council did not stop them. Luke stood beside her, and for the first time since she was born, Lyrana did not feel alone. The sun rose over the twin towers of Alari. The sky was calm, painted with soft gold and pale blue. Lyrana stood on a wide balcony, holding her child close. The air felt different now, not heavy with judgment, but open with something new. Luke stepped beside her. "He slept well last night." "Yes," she said. "He dreams quietly." They had been given a home near the edge of the city, not far from the palace, but not inside it either. It was a place between two worlds, just like their child. The city around them was changing, slow but clear. People who once walked with eyes down now looked up. Some still turned away. Others waved or bowed. It was not yet peace, but it was a beginning. Inside the house, they had made a room for the baby. Simple walls, soft lights, no royal symbols, no machines watching, only quiet. Visitors came each day, scholars, healers, curious citizens. They asked questions. Some doubted, some believed. All looked at the child with wonder. "He learns fast," Luke said. Lyrana nodded. "His mind is strong, stronger than mine was at his age. He has your spirit, calm." They watched as the child crawled across the floor, his hands steady, his eyes bright. Outside, the High Council still held meetings. They argued about laws and blood and future paths. But they no longer spoke of removing the child. That idea had died the day Lyrana stood before them and refused to break. One morning, the young counselor who had spoken for them came again. "The council wants to make a new circle," she said. "A place for voices like yours, for humans and Alari both." Lyrana raised an eyebrow. "They fear being left behind. They fear being wrong. But they are learning. I will join. But only if Luke joins too." The counselor smiled. "Then both of you will lead it." The circle was formed weeks later. Not in the palace, but in a public square. Open to all. Some came from far across the stars. Not just humans in Alari. Others too, those who had watched from shadows. Luke spoke little. When he spoke, his words were simple and clear. They carried weight. Lyrana spoke with fire. Not anger, but strength. She told her story, not with shame, but with power. She did not ask for pity. She asked for change. The child grew fast. By the time the council accepted the new laws, he had taken his first steps. Yes. He walked with balance, like he had done it before in another life. Children of Alari watched him. Some followed, some laughed. No one called him broken. Not anymore. One day, as the twin suns set behind the hills, Lyrana and Luke stood outside with their son between them. "He will be something great," Luke said. "He already is," she replied. The boy touched the ground with his hands, then looked up at the sky. His eyes caught the last light of the day. "What should we call him?" Luke asked. "A name that is not mine, not yours. Something new." "Kai," Luke said. Lyrana nodded. "Kai. That means light in your old tongue, yes?" "Yes, then it fits." Kai laughed, and the sound echoed across the valley. News of Kai spread beyond Alari. Other worlds asked to meet him. Others asked how such a child could be. Answers were not always given. Some things had no simple words. But what mattered was not the reason he existed. What mattered was that he did, that he lived and grew and smiled. He would never be a prince in the old way.
But he would be something more.
A bridge, a symbol, a spark. Lyrana looked at Luke. "We were both forgotten once. Now look at us." Luke smiled. "They tried to throw you away, but you came back with a child. It changed everything." They stood together as night came. Stars blinked above, quiet and endless. Kai reached up toward the sky. And for the first time in many years, the stars did not feel so far away.